Hi, I'm Elisa Novick. I taught history at Ashbury College for 35 years. I now serve on the board of CHESS, the Center for Holocaust Education and Scholarship, an organization that supports teachers teaching about anti-Semitism and the Holocaust here in Ottawa. And today, I'd like to welcome you to the National Holocaust Monument and give you some advice on how to take your students through the monument and make it a meaningful addition to your Holocaust unit. Before coming to the monument, have your students download the IWalk app from the IWalk app website. This app is an immersive, bilingual tool that was designed to enrich your visit to the National Holocaust Monument. To make the visit more meaningful, we strongly suggest that your students come with some background knowledge on the Holocaust. That way, they'll be able to better interact with the symbolism, the historical context, and the surviving testimonies. Let's walk deeper into the monument. The monument, located across from the Canadian War Museum, was designed by Daniel Libeskind, an internationally known and award-winning architect, as a place for remembrance and reflection. As you walk in, you'll notice that you've descended into the monument, and that descent is symbolic of the loss and fear and oppression that the Jews suffered during the Holocaust. You'll also see that you are surrounded by tall, imposing gray concrete walls, and that symbolizes the isolation. When you're in the monument, you actually feel separated from the outside world. Although you can't see it when you're inside, from above you can tell that the monument has been designed in the shape of a fractured Star of David. The Star of David is a six-pointed star, and it is a cultural symbol that represents Judaism. It also, of course, represents the star that the Jews were forced to wear during the Holocaust. The fractured star, of course, represents the loss and destruction of communities and people, but it also stands for resilience. In the IWalk app, section 1 is on the monument, and there's a lot more in there on symbolism. When all your students have come into the monument, I suggest that you start here with these blue panels. They're history panels. And depending on how much background your students already have, you might want to stop and go over some of the key points, an explanation of the Holocaust, the rise of Nazi Germany, how persecution increased, the eruption of violence, the outbreak of the war, and on and on. There's also a section further down on Canada's shameful response to the Holocaust. In sections 2 and 3 of the IWalk app, there's a lot more on the history of this period, as well as survivor testimony. After you spend some time with the history panels, and you've explained that there are 7 sections to the Holocaust Monument, I suggest breaking your students up into smaller groups so that they can travel in smaller groups, get closer to what they're seeing, and interact more meaningfully with it. In the heart of the monument are 6 large-scale pictures. These pictures are painted monochromatically on the concrete walls. They're large, they're imposing, they're quite haunting. These murals are based on the pictures taken by photographer Edward Bertinsky, the photographer for the monument, in his travels through Central and Eastern Europe. In the app, in sections 4 and 5, there are references to all the pictures that you see here. The sections are called History and Photographs 1, History and Photographs 2. And for example, this is from History and Photographs 2. This is the electric fence at Auschwitz. There's a lot of information in that section on why Auschwitz is the Holocaust's primary symbol of evil and oppression. There are also a number of survivor testimonies, as well as thought-provoking questions for your students. After your students have seen all of the murals and they've had time to interact with the app, to listen to the survivor testimony, reflect on the questions, it's time to go into the Flame of Remembrance. This is section 6, the Flame of Remembrance. This flame is lit to remember all the victims of the Holocaust. In the section on the app, there's an excellent interview with Erwin Cotler, our former Minister of Justice and Attorney General, where he talks about the toxicity of hatred and anti-Semitism and how dangerous they are to all democracies. This is a good area for students to think about those words and reflect on what they've seen. This is the last section, the Stairs of Hope, and you can see that after the students have seen everything, they ascend to this final section. This represents survival, resilience, and hope, but it also represents the fragility of human rights and democracy. In the section on the app, there are a tremendous number of survivor testimonies, all of which are a very moving and fitting way to end your visit to the monument. For additional guidance and resources, visit the IWalk app website and the National Holocaust Monument website. The IWalk app has pre and post lesson plan activities. You can also visit the CHESS website and the Liberation 75 website for more guidance and resources on how to integrate a visit to the monument into your unit on the Holocaust.